The Crucible's Forge. Chapter 1. The Crucible Awakens. A gentle hum permeated the air as Astra Valois gazed out from the observation deck. Below, a tapestry of emerald and turquoise unfurled the Crucible, a planet teeming with life. After centuries of travel, the generation ship Odyssey had finally reached its destination. Beside her, Captain Miller exhaled, a mix of relief and awe etched on his face. "More beautiful than the simulations," he murmured, echoing Astra's own thoughts. Astra, the ship's lead geneticist, nodded silently. The vibrant landscape below was a feast for her scientific mind. Rivers snaked through lush forests, towering mountains pierced the cerulean sky, and vast oceans shimmered in the sunlight. This was a world ripe for discovery. As the Odyssey descended, Astra's focus sharpened. The planet's details came into view. Exotic flowers in hues unseen on Earth, birds with plumage that shimmered like jewels, insects with translucent wings. The air crackled with life, a symphony of chirps, buzzes, and rustling leaves. Weeks melted into months as the colonists established their first settlement, christened New Eden. Astra spent her days immersed in the Crucible's embrace, venturing into the wilderness to collect samples and study the unique flora and fauna. The planet seemed to pulse with an energy she couldn't quite define. One afternoon, while hiking through a dense forest, Astra stumbled upon a clearing. In the center, a massive tree stood, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky. Its bark pulsed with a faint luminescence, and its leaves seemed to whisper in an unknown language. Astra felt a strange pull towards the tree, an inexplicable connection. She reached out, her fingertips brushing against the rough bark. A jolt of energy surged through her, leaving her breathless but exhilarated. Back in her lab, Astra examined the samples she had collected from the tree. The readings were off the charts, unlike anything she had ever encountered. The tree's DNA was complex, constantly shifting and evolving. It was as if the tree itself was a living laboratory of genetic experimentation. One evening, while examining a blood sample from a colonist under her microscope, Astra's breath hitched. The familiar double helix of DNA was there, but something was off. Subtle anomalies, minute mutations, alterations not present in the ship's genetic records. She ran more tests, her heart pounding with each confirmation. The Crucible wasn't just influencing the wildlife, it was altering human DNA. That evening, Astra found Captain Miller gazing out at the colony's twinkling lights. He turned as she approached, his expression a mix of hope and apprehension. "You have news?" Astra hesitated, then nodded. "The Crucible is changing us, Captain. It's accelerating our evolution." Miller's brow furrowed. "Is that good?" Astra met his gaze, her voice barely a whisper. "It's too soon to tell." Chapter 2. Evolution's Crucible. The mess hall buzzed with nervous energy. Astra balanced a tray laden with nutrient paste and reconstituted vegetables, scanning for a familiar face. She spotted Noah, the colony's botanist, hunched over a table, his usually bright eyes clouded with worry. "Noah," Astra greeted, sliding onto the bench beside him. "You look troubled." Noah pushed his plate away, untouched. "Have you heard about Maria?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "The medic? What happened?" Astra felt a cold dread settle in her stomach. She levitated," Noah said, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Right there in the infirmary. Lifted a whole medical kit without touching it." Astra's heart hammered in her chest. The mutations were accelerating, becoming more pronounced. This was no longer a matter of subtle genetic changes. It was a full-blown manifestation of extraordinary abilities. Word of Maria's levitation spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of fear and fascination throughout the colony. Some saw it as a miracle, a sign that humanity was destined for greatness. Others, like Noah, saw it as a dangerous deviation from the natural order. Silas, ever the opportunist, seized the moment. He called a meeting in the town square, his voice ringing out with charisma and confidence. "My fellow colonists," he began, "we are on the cusp of a new era. The Crucible is not just our home, it's our birthplace, our forge. We are being remade, transformed into something more than human." Astra watched from the edge of the crowd, her arms crossed, a frown creasing her brow. Silas's words were seductive, playing on the colonists' hopes and fears. But Astra knew that unchecked power, fueled by ambition, was a dangerous combination. "We are the apex," Silas declared, raising his arms towards the sky. "The next step in human evolution. We will not cower in fear of our gifts. We will embrace them, master them, and lead humanity to its rightful destiny." A roar of approval erupted from the crowd, but Astra noticed a flicker of unease in some eyes. The division within the colony was growing deeper, a chasm threatening to tear them apart. Later that evening, Astra confronted Silas in his quarters, a converted storage container adorned with trophies of his engineering prowess. "You're playing with fire, Silas," she warned. "This isn't a game. These changes are unpredictable, dangerous." Silas leaned back in his chair, a smug grin on his face. "Danger is just another word for opportunity, my dear Astra, and I intend to seize this opportunity with both hands." Astra's voice hardened. "This isn't about you, Silas. It's about the future of our people. We need to proceed with caution, with reason." Silas stood, his imposing figure casting a shadow over Astra. "Reason is for the weak, Astra. The strong make their own destiny, and the apex will be the architects of our new world." He turned away, leaving Astra to stare at his back, a shiver running down her spine. The Crucible's fire was burning bright, but Astra feared it would forge a path of destruction, not salvation. The colony was teetering on the edge of a precipice, and she wasn't sure if she could pull them back from the brink. Chapter 3. The Forerunner's Shadow. The settlement of New Eden was no longer just a cluster of prefabricated dwellings. It was a living testament to the Crucible's influence. Lush gardens sprouted overnight, tended by colonists with newfound abilities to manipulate plant growth. Children played games of telekinetic tag, their laughter echoing through the settlement. But beneath the surface of this burgeoning paradise, a storm was brewing. Astra found herself increasingly at odds with Silas and his apex. Their training sessions had become displays of raw power, bending metal with their minds, controlling flames with a flick of the wrist. Their arrogance grew with each newfound ability, their demands for resources and autonomy becoming more insistent. One day, while on an expedition into the uncharted wilderness, Astra stumbled upon a hidden valley. Nestled between towering cliffs, a series of intricate stone structures stood, their architecture unlike anything she had seen on the Crucible. The walls were adorned with symbols, complex geometric patterns, stylized figures of humanoid creatures with elongated limbs and glowing eyes. Astra returned to New Eden, her mind racing. She spent days poring over historical records, cross-referencing the symbols with ancient texts from Earth. A chilling realization dawned on her. The figures on the walls were not human, but a depiction of an ancient species known as the Forerunners. According to the records, the Forerunners were a technologically advanced race who had terraformed countless worlds, including the Crucible. They had genetically engineered the planet's ecosystem, creating a delicate balance of flora and fauna. But their motives were shrouded in mystery. Had they abandoned the Crucible, or were they still lurking in the shadows? Astra shared her findings with Captain Miller, who listened with a furrowed brow. "The Forerunners," he muttered. "I've heard whispers of them in old folktales, but I never thought—" "They were real," Astra finished for him, "and they might still be here." The captain's face paled. "If they engineered this planet, then they could be responsible for our mutations." Astra nodded grimly. "It's possible. And if they're still here, they might see our uncontrolled evolution as a threat." The news of the Forerunners sent a wave of panic through the colony. The apex, ever defiant, saw it as an opportunity to prove their superiority. Silas rallied his followers, declaring that they would not bow to any ancient overlords. Astra knew they needed to tread carefully. She reached out to the Forerunners through telepathic messages, her mind echoing through the Crucible's vast network of consciousness. Days turned into nights, but there was no response. The silence was deafening, ominous. One morning, as the sun broke over their horizon, a shadow fell over New Eden. A massive ship, shaped like a crescent moon, hovered silently above the settlement. The air grew heavy, charged with an unknown energy. The Forerunners had emerged from the shadows, and their intentions were far from clear. The colony held its breath, bracing for the storm that was about to break. Chapter 4. The Forge's Fire. The ground trembled beneath Astra's feet, the vibrations echoing the frantic beating of her heart. From the settlement, screams and shouts blended with the guttural roars of the apex, their enhanced voices echoing through the valley. The Forerunner ship, a menacing monolith in the sky, pulsed with an ominous light. Astra found herself surrounded by a small group of loyal colonists, their faces etched with fear and determination. Noah, his hands trembling but his eyes resolute, clutched a makeshift weapon fashioned from a sharpened branch and glowing fungi. "We have to stop them," he choked out, his gaze darting between the apex and the looming ship. "Silas is out of control, and those things in the sky, they mean to destroy us." Astra nodded, her eyes scanning the battlefield. The apex, their bodies glowing with raw power, charged towards the settlement, their laughter a chilling melody of madness. The Forerunners retaliated, their energy blasts scorching the earth, leaving trails of smoking ruin. Astra closed her eyes, reaching out with her mind, not to the colonists or the Forerunners, but to the Crucible itself. The sentient planet, the cradle of their evolution, hummed with a comforting warmth. A wave of energy washed over her, soothing her fear, filling her with a sense of purpose. She opened her eyes, a newfound light shimmering in their depths. "No," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the din of battle. "This is not destruction. This is evolution." She stepped forward, her arms outstretched. The ground beneath her feet glowed, the roots of the ancient tree from the hidden valley snaking towards her. The energy of the Crucible coursed through her veins, merging with her own genetic code, unlocking a power she had only dreamed of. Astra raised her hands, and the very air around her crackled with energy. The vines that had once ensnared the Forerunner ship now pulsed with a life of their own, their thorns hardening into razor-sharp spikes. The apex, caught off guard, were ensnared and immobilized, their powers flickering and fading. The Forerunners, sensing a shift in the tide of battle, turned their attention to Astra, but as their energy blast struck her, they were absorbed, their power fueling her own. She felt herself growing stronger, taller, her skin shimmering with an ethereal light. Astra raised her voice, a clarion call that echoed across the battlefield. "We are not your enemies, Forerunners. We are the Crucible's children, evolving as it intended. Join us, not in conflict, but in harmony." A hush fell over the battlefield. The Forerunners paused, their weapons lowering. Astra could sense their confusion, their curiosity. She reached out with her mind, sharing her vision of a future where humans and Forerunners coexisted, their unique abilities complementing each other, working together to unlock the full potential of the Crucible. The air crackled with tension as the Forerunners deliberated. Then slowly the ship's lights dimmed, its weapons retracting. A wave of relief washed over Astra. The Crucible's fire had not only forged her into a weapon, but also a bridge between two species. The battle was over for now, but a new chapter in humanity's evolution had just begun. Chapter 5. The Crucible's Heartbeat. The acrid smell of smoke lingered in the air, a stark reminder of the recent battle. The Forerunner ship, its once gleaming surface marred by scorch marks, now rested silently in a makeshift landing zone. A delegation of colonists, led by Astra and Captain Miller, approached cautiously. The ship's hatch hissed open, revealing a figure bathed in a soft blue light. It was Kai, his features a harmonious blend of human and Forerunner, his eyes a deep, fathomless blue. "Greetings, children of the Crucible," Kai's voice echoed in their minds, a gentle wave of telepathic communication. "I am Kai, the guardian of this world." Astra, feeling both awe and trepidation, stepped forward. "We have questions," she said, her own telepathic voice tinged with caution. "Who are you? Why have you returned?" Kai smiled, a warmth radiating from his being. "I am a child of both worlds, born of the Crucible's embrace. I have returned to guide you, to help you understand your destiny." He gestured towards the ship, and the colonists followed him inside. The interior was a marvel of organic technology, the walls pulsating with a soft, rhythmic light. Kai led them to a central chamber where a massive, crystalline structure thrummed with energy. "This is the Crucible's heart," Kai explained. "It is the source of the planet's power, the wellspring of life and evolution. Astra approached the heart, her hand hovering over its surface. It felt warm to the touch, a gentle vibration resonating through her fingertips. The Crucible is not merely a planet, Kai continued. It is a sentient being, a consciousness that has nurtured life for millennia. You, the descendants of those who were lost, have returned to fulfill your destiny. Astra's eyes widened in understanding. The Crucible was not just a force of nature, it was a guiding hand, shaping the evolution of life towards a higher purpose. The mutations, the powers, they were not random occurrences, but part of a grand design. But why now? Captain Miller asked, his voice tinged with suspicion. Why reveal yourselves after all these years? Kai turned to him, his eyes filled with a gentle sadness. We watched from afar, observing your struggles, your triumphs. We saw the potential within you, but also the danger. The apex, driven by fear and ambition, threatened to disrupt the delicate balance of the Crucible. Astra nodded, her mind racing. The Forerunners had intervened to protect their creation, but they had also given humanity a chance to prove themselves. We are not your enemies, Kai reassured them. We are here to guide you, to help you navigate the path of evolution. The Crucible has much to teach you if you are willing to listen. The colonists exchanged glances, their minds abuzz with questions and possibilities. This was a turning point, a chance to forge a new alliance, a new understanding. Astra, her heart filled with hope, extended her hand towards Kai. We are ready, she said, her voice firm. We are the Crucible's children, and we will embrace our destiny. Kai smiled, taking her hand. The Crucible's heartbeat pulsed stronger, its energy resonating through the chamber. A new chapter in humanity's story had begun, a chapter of unity, evolution, and endless possibilities. Chapter 6, Evolution's Fire, Humanity's Dawn. Sunlight filtered through the leaves of the Crucible's colossal trees, casting dappled patterns on the ground. Astra stood on the edge of a newly cleared field, watching as children with laughter in their eyes chased butterflies with shimmering wings. Their laughter, once tinged with fear, now resonated with joy and wonder. The air buzzed with the harmonious hum of insects, each one a tiny symphony of color and movement. Astra smiled, remembering the days when she had viewed these creatures with a scientist's detached curiosity. Now she saw them as part of a grand tapestry, a living testament to the Crucible's intricate design. Beside her, Kai, the guardian of the Crucible, observed the scene with a serene expression. They are learning, he said, his voice a gentle melody in her mind. They are beginning to understand the balance, the harmony between evolution and nature. Astra nodded, her gaze sweeping over the landscape. New Eden had transformed, not just physically but spiritually. The colonists had embraced their abilities, not as weapons, but as tools for creation and connection. They tended the land with newfound respect, learning from the Crucible's wisdom, nurturing the planet as it nurtured them. In the distance, she saw a group of colonists working together to construct a new building, their telekinetic abilities effortlessly lifting heavy beams into place. A young woman with glowing eyes used her enhanced vision to guide their efforts, ensuring precision and safety. Further afield, another group was exploring the depths of a crystalline cave, their bioluminescent skin illuminating the darkness. They were led by Noah, who had discovered a network of underground rivers teeming with life, a hidden ecosystem waiting to be studied and understood. Astra turned to Kai, her heart swelling with pride and hope. We have come so far, she said, her voice filled with wonder. We have learned so much. Kai placed a hand on her shoulder, his touch warm and reassuring. This is only the beginning, Astra. The Crucible's fire has ignited a spark within your people, a spark of potential, of unity. The path ahead may be uncertain, but I have faith in you. You are the inheritors of a grand destiny. Astra closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face, the gentle breeze rustling through her hair. She was home, truly home, for the first time in her life. The Crucible was not just a planet, but a part of her, a part of all of them. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the land, Astra looked towards the horizon. A new era was dawning for humanity, an era of evolution, exploration, and boundless possibilities. The Crucible's fire had forged them into something stronger, something wiser. They were no longer just colonists. They were stewards, guardians of a precious gift. With a newfound sense of purpose, Astra turned back towards the settlement, ready to face the challenges and wonders that lay ahead. The Crucible's heartbeat echoed in her ears, a steady rhythm of life, of evolution, of humanity's unwavering spirit. The journey had just begun, and Astra knew that together they would rise to meet it, their spirits soaring on the wings of evolution's fire.